So I'll kick this off now. So, sorry, let's go back to the start. Again, this is probably still the most important signal for me at the moment as to what's going to happen here. It's quite interesting. Today we've just got a small uptick on the actual global liquidity. Hey guys. Oh, Jesus. Hang on, sorry. For some reason my chat just shit itself. Anyway. Hey, better than Mac. So, alright. Yeah. Bit of a pretty ordinary weekend, really. There wasn't a lot going on. Had all that volatility on Friday, and then everyone just had the weekend off, I think. A little bit of volume coming through yesterday, but still very low. Not bad for Sunday, really. US Sunday. But yeah, still not great. It was an overall slightly negative, but it was inside. So it didn't close below or above the body of the previous candle. So nothing huge to go off, but once we look on the shorter time frames, I'm still expecting it to at least come down into this area here where this wick is. Just because once you get down in here, as you can see, we've still got this big wick here on big volume. I'm expecting it to come back in here. That's really the only reason. It's just over the history of Bitcoin that since I've been watching it, whenever we've had a big wick like this on volume, you know, it's come back to it before we move on. Thing is though, if we do get that, is it going to stop there? Possibly not. We may actually see high 67. And then we've got this little puppy here, which would actually coincide with the 1 hour, or a bit below the 1 hour 800. So that's sort of my biggest question mark at the moment for Bitcoin. But at the moment we're stuck in this range. This here does scream of a stop hunt. So just hunting for everyone's shorts that are being formed in this area. So yeah, honestly, I think this probably goes down further from this point. Really, the only thing in the back of my mind is that we've had this uptick in liquidity. Really just sort of recently as well. The S&P 500 's still looking okay. I'll get to that chart in a second. And volume inflows into the ETFs are still strong. So all those mean it's kind of hard to drop. But ultimately, probably options and the derivatives markets will govern this in the short term. Hey, squirrel. So, you know, we are below some key moving averages here. That little pump and dump sort of suggests we are going a bit lower, in my mind. At least in the short term. Come back out. Oops. Trading view. So yeah, kind of in no man's land, but we are holding above this Gaussian channel here on the daily, which is fairly critical. Again, if this ticks up and supports this rally a bit, then expect to go a bit higher. It's a little concerning though that this trended down for so long and we didn't really see that much of a correction on the S&P 500. Typically where we get the global liquidity dropping relative to the S&P 500, it is a precursor for a drop in the S&P 500, but there is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at the moment too. So yeah, today's close is probably going to be pretty pivotal, I would say. If we close back within this Gaussian channel, and particularly if we were to close below that 20 moving average there, that would suggest we're going to have a bigger correction probably back into this most traded volume area. All right, have a quick look at NASDAQ. Yeah, had a reasonable day. It's kind of just moving sideways, just coiling a bit at the moment. It is a bit overextended on the daily. NASDAQ can keep doing that for ages. Just have a quick look at the shorter time frame, see if there's any sign of a trend reversal or anything. I mean, just move into here. Sorry, just a quick one on Bitcoin on the daily. We've kind of got a bearish divergence in the CCI indicator, which again suggests like that is in a downward trend at the moment as well. They're kind of supporting the theory that we may go a bit lower from here. While I'm here, I just will put that on NASDAQ. I mean, that's not super. CCI is in a kind of a point where I wouldn't like to make a decision on it, to be honest, at the moment. Hype in the chat. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting. Not getting a huge read. It looks like we'll probably potentially be coiling a bit. CCI isn't super overextended or anything for NASDAQ. Like, you know, you want to be up well above these sort of levels before you were worried about a particularly sharp downturn. It looks like it's just going to keep grinding a bit higher, to be honest. Yeah. Go to the shorter time frames again with this indicator on. Again, it's kind of, it's almost resetting. Typically with CCI, a good indicator is when the CCI bumps up through the 0 level. So it's still kind of postured to the upside, just the fact that it's above 0, but it looks like it potentially wants to sort of reset a little bit at least. If it does break below this and we get a break below these levels as well, then I would actually expect NASDAQ to come down a bit. But if we don't get that, you know, daily it's still relatively bullish. I was listening to a podcast on Real Vision today, Stenos Signals, one that they do for them, where he was talking about it looks like there's actually some underlying liquidity that's getting unlocked globally at the moment. So again, the fact that the European Union is cutting interest rates That's typically not a great thing for markets in the long run. You will normally see, you can see actually a pump in the markets followed by quite a big downturn. So rate cuts are normally bullish to start with, and then you will get hit with significant downside after that. So again, that kind of suggests that maybe we will actually get a bit of support for stocks at the moment. And coming into the US election, again, you would expect to see the market generally go up coming into an election. The incumbents tend to find a way to make the economy look good. So IWM is still really in a downward trend, to be honest. And again, this is just kind of more of an indicator of the health of the actual economy in the US, with small business not doing particularly well. Sort of just middle of that range there. XLY, XLP, again, it's not super supportive of this rally still, but it seems to be finding a base and coiling a bit here. So we could actually see this start to support the rally as well. Particularly if we break above that level, that would be a pretty reasonable level. Ultimately, for long term though, you would actually want to see this come up with the market, probably just a little correction, a little retest at this level, and then move on. That's the sort of move I'd be looking for on XLY, XLP. The Dixie was stronger on the thoughts that essentially rates are going to stay higher for longer, so people are going to want the US dollar. Although that's, wait and see if that actually happens, because China's not buying bonds and stuff anymore. VIX is still super low, starting to increase a little bit off that level, but not anything to be super concerned about. A bit of a nothing read there. Copper is still low, but might be forming a base here. It's back into this high volume range. Gold is still struggling, a little bit of sideways action here. And Aussie dollars, a bit of sideways action as well. So looks like oil's found its bottom here for the time being. The other thing is too, you do tend to see oil go on a pretty decent rip to the upside before you see any sort of recession or big corrections. So something to keep an eye out for. Freaking Apple the other day, look at that shit. That's ridiculous that a company with a market size like that can have a daily candle like that. It's mental. What was that, top to bottom? Just shows you the markets are being a bit silly at the moment. 8% top to bottom. Good luck trading that shit. Actually, I wanted to see, just out of interest. Oh, sorry, that's actually, fuck, that's the big guys. That's not just Apple. So yeah, very volatile day on Friday. What's going to happen? Total market cap still dropping. That's actually probably more of an indication of where Bitcoin might be heading than anything else. Just the fact we got that close below the previous body. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be back into here before we get another try to the upside. If we get another try off that level. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the longs have actually dropped off slightly. It is still holding this level, but there has been some profit taking overall. I'd be looking for these to. Oh, so yeah, I would think there's going to be a drop before we start to see this increase again. So yeah, generally, I would suggest overall it's looking sort of sideways and down. At least for the next couple of days, potentially into the FOMC meeting. What's that? What's today? I don't even know what day it is. Today's Tuesday in Australia, so you got another couple of days, potentially a couple of days of down to pick up these levels, even into this level here, and then we'll see what the FOMC meeting does. They may actually suggest they will cut rates in September, which would then pump the market. So yeah, that's one scenario I would consider as being a relatively high probability. But just watch the lower time frame price action really. Okay, back into BTC, just on the shorter time frames. Not much going on there. That's postured to the downside as well using CC's indicators. And yeah, this one here on the lower time frames, 15 minutes, is still suggesting bullish posturing at the moment. That was the lender one. This one here, when paying attention to, yeah. Where are we? I'll just come back here. Essentially what I'm looking for. Retest of these levels, see what happens then. That could be the bounce point that we need, but expect it to at least sweep these levels as well. Sorry for the background noise. Yeah, expect it to at least sweep these levels and then move to the upside. But as we've seen in the past, Bitcoin can do funny things. It might just ignore that level for a bit, come back to it later. Yeah, everything, the way I'm looking at it is postured to the downside for the time being. All right. Looks like some after hours action on the ES, as in S&P 500, is actually looking more downside. Let's head up to that. Look at the volumes there, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's interesting. Just sort of broken below these levels here. It could just be coming down to pick up this wick. Then you might see trade back up and just range through the rest of the day until the US market properly opens again. It's definitely postured to the downside at the moment though. Alright, that's where I'm going to leave it. Unless there's any particular questions, anything you want me to actually cover. I'll have a quick look at ETH actually. Ethereum doesn't look super strong, does it? Whoa. Ethereum is probably more of an indicator that even gapped up on the 15-minute. Wow. Yeah, Ethereum. This is going to be a juicy level to come back to before any more upside, I would think. All right. Most of the alts have been pretty down to sideways as well. So yeah, I just can't see it not coming back here before we go up further. All right. we'll finish it off there. Catch you guys later.